Don't want to fix it alone? Call RVFix to get virtual assistance from a master technician today.
Hi, I'm Daryl with RVFix, and today we're going to go over boondocking for a 26 BHS. And we're going to discuss what it means to boondock and how it works. So there's a couple of things most people ask me when I talk to them about boondocking or about using their trailer when there's no hookups. How long does it last? So a couple of things they ask is, how long does my power last? How long does my propane last? How long does my water last? And honestly, with all these items, it all depends on how you use it. So let's talk about boondocking. So let's talk about power first. How long is your batteries going to last? Let's look at it in the front here. Right now we have one battery on here, and we want to call that our battery bank. Our battery is going to store power, correct? Up on top of our RV here, it has one solar panel. That solar panel is going to produce power, of course, when you have sunlight. What they say is you get full power when the sun is up in the high side of the sky, and you get about 6 hours during the summertime. It takes the power from the sun, comes down here, and it comes to our charge controller. And from our charge controller, it'll go to our battery bank. One battery is good, one solar panel is good. But all it does is extend how long you can boondock. It's not going to allow you to go on forever. If you want to do that, you increase your battery bank size, or you get more solar panel. But it will extend the days. So how long can you go on one battery? Well, again, it really depends on how you use it. So right now, the sun is out, it's charging our batteries, it's operating. We can operate a lot of things inside the RV, like our lights. So let's go inside and look at our lights. Okay, so we're going to turn on our lights. We have our living room lights on, our bedroom lights on. When we're in this RV right here, there's a lot of things that run off of just battery, okay? Our fan and our lights here are going to run off of battery. The other thing is this stove and oven also is 12 volt, all right? Two main appliances in the RV that'll drain your power. One is going to be the refrigerator. These 12 volt refrigerators have a compressor, and the compressor will really draw down the amperage of the batteries. So it's good that you have a solar panel, but once again, the solar panel charges a battery, and as this draws from our battery bank, it takes out quite a bit of power throughout the day. And so when this is operating at nighttime, which you want it to be, and there's no sun going on, then it's draining down that battery, okay? So this is one thing that'll drain it down. The other thing that's going to drain it down is our furnace, which is located right here. This is our furnace. Our furnace will draw a lot of power. It's very similar to how much the refrigerator. So if you have the refrigerator going and the furnace going at the same time, it does definitely draw down the power in your battery. Okay, other things that will draw down power, of course, there's our lights. These things, the refrigerator and furnace, are 10 times, more than 10 times more than one light will draw from our battery. The other things that we have is in the bathroom, you have a bathroom fan that will draw power. And also when you turn on the water pump, we'll go look at their water pump here, you'll draw down power if we turn it on, right? Now the water heater has a switch. It does does take a little bit of power to operate the water heater. So that's another thing. The slide out is another one. But this right here, the slide out is momentary. It's not constant like the refrigerator or the furnace if you have the furnace on. All right. Now let's talk about how to use a refrigerator. Before you go on a trip, before you go out camping where you don't have hookups, one of the things that you want to do is you want to take the refrigerator and you want to plug it in. You want to plug in your RV about the day beforehand or 2 days beforehand. And you want to turn this on and get it down to temperature. And a lot of times you'll take your cold food that you have in your refrigerator home and you'll put it in the refrigerator here. And it helps this. So once you put warm food in here, it does raise the temperature in here and makes the compressor work harder. So, and that's one more thing, when you're boondocking, you want to be able to open this up, know what you're going to get, and shut it. Okay, so it doesn't have to work as hard. So we have that. The other thing is, when you boondock, you want to plug your RV in a day or two in advance. And what that does is it takes the AC power and it goes into your converter and it changes the DC power and it charges your batteries all the way up. So there's items in here where you can use this USB right here, right? If you're using this USB to charge your phone, what you're doing is you're drawing from your batteries to charge your phone. So if you're going to have laptops or cell phones and things that have a battery, take them, charge them up as well. And before you go on your trip, so you don't have to use that battery power as much. So the next thing that we want to talk about is when you're boondocking is water. How much water do you need? Or how much water do you have? So we want to talk about how much water you have. In this RV, it has 42 gallons. 42 gallons seems like a lot, but what can happen is when you're boondocking, if you're any extended period of time, you could run through that water pretty quick. So what are some of the tips that you can do? One, your water heater, you want to make sure that's full, because right now this water heater that we have in this RV is a 6-gallon water heater. So we want to make sure that's full of water before we leave. We want to make sure our fresh tank is full. As well as our gray and black tank, we want to keep them empty when we first are prepping for our RV to start out. So with the 42 gallons of water that we have, how do we minimize using it all at once? There's two things out there that drain the water from your RV. One is the sink right here, doing the dishes. A lot of people like to run the water and it will just drain that water out of the tank. So it's better to plug the sink, fill it up, and wash your dishes that way. So you're not letting the water drain through. So you have that option. The other thing is when you're taking a shower, a lot of people, what they do is this is how they use a shower. If you've ever wondered what this knob is right here at the controls, this is the on and off knob. I'll turn it on, and I'll get wet, and I'll turn it off up here to lather up. And then when I'm done, I turn it back on, and I rinse off. I don't let the water keep running. If you let it run, you're going to run out of water fast. Okay? So those are going to be the two major things that are going to drain your water tank fast. We do use a toilet, and you want to flush the toilet and use that properly, right? There's a little bit of water on the top of the toilet. It's just for a vapor barrier, and we want to keep that in there. But usually when we're done camping, let's say we went boondocking, and our black tank is, half full. What we'll do is when we get to where a dump station is, we'll fill the black tank all the way up to help the water kind of mix everything and then let it flush out. Okay, so we're not using a ton of water when we're boondocking. You have your 2 propane containers on this RV. Things that use propane are going to be your stove. Is going to be one. The furnace is going to be another one. The water heater is going to be a third. And the outside grill is going to be the fourth. With those 4 appliances, the propane with the 2 tanks, that they're full and going out, I've seen people go out for a week or 2 with just 2 propane tanks. But let me tell you how to make this work so you know where you're at. Let's go look. These are 7-gallon propane tanks is what they call them. And when we turn it on, we have 2, and we have this device right here, this regulator, and we point to which tank, and that pointing is just an indication of which tank that is showing right here where how full it is right now. Right now it's red, that means it's empty. But let's say we fill the propane tanks up. If I was going to use this boondocking, what I would do is instead of turning both of them on, even though this is an auto changeover regulator, I would turn one off, all the way off. And so that as I'm using this propane tank right here, I know when I'm halfway through. And that'll give me an indication of how far I can go with how I'm using the RV. Realize that during the summertime, you're not going to be using your furnace as much as if you would do it in the wintertime. And so your propane is going to last longer. Okay? Another thing that happens when you go boondocking is sometimes you're in an area where it's not too level and you're trying to level out. These right here are for stabilization only. These are called stab jacks, is what we call them in the shop. So these stabilization jacks are only to stabilize, they're not to level out. So what do we do to level out? Well, in the store, you can buy these blocks right here. There's several different setups out there, okay? And what these blocks are gonna do is, if you look in the camera right there, you can see you can stack the blocks and you can make it to where you can drive up on these blocks. So you can stack them under one block or one tire and stack them on over here on the other tire, and you could drive up and give you a couple more inches to kind of level it out. And once you have it leveled on this side, then you could go through and put down your stab jacks. The other thing that we do is, once we are leveled, we do have chocks. So if let's say we leveled out the other side, we could come through and we could chalk our tires like that. So the trailer doesn't, it's one more way to keep the trailer from moving back and forth. So this refrigerator right here, the best way to use this, this is not a 12-volt refrigerator. If you're going to use this, it's going to be more like an ice chest. This is 120 volt. And so what will happen is, you want to plug it in the day or two before you go, get it cold, stick your food in there, and use this food first. All right? Because this will warm up as the day goes on because it's not working. Now, we talked about power. If you are boondocking, sometimes you could use a generator, and you could plug in your generator to your shore cord. Let's go look over here to our shore cord. This right here is a 30 amp plug. Let's say you have a generator and you want to use a generator when you're boondocking. Couple things, know where you're at. If you turn on your generator, some places have time limits on how long the generator runs for. Okay, so you can't have it sometimes after 10, and you have to be able to, you could turn it on only after 8 in the morning. So after 10 at night and 8 in the morning. Sometimes it's like that. Know your area. So this plug-in right here, most generators will have this, but if they don't have this, you'll want to reduce it down to what they have. It's usually going to be like a house outlet that you would reduce it down. And so this being a 30 amp plug, if you reduce it down to the 15 amp outlet that you'd find kind of like in your house garage, you just minimize how much amperage you can use. Just something to know about generators. And so when you turn on your air conditioner, it may cause a fit because they're operating off of a 15 amp service. It may not like that. So some things that can't be used when you're boondocking if you don't have AC power like a generator. That's going to be the microwave. The microwave will not turn on, as well the air conditioner will not turn on. Those things need to have 120 volt power. When you're boondocking, you have battery power, and that's 12 volt. All right? Hey, good luck, happy camping, and happy boondocking. Have fun.
Thanks for watching. Every RV is different, and it can be difficult to remember everything. But don't worry, we're here to help. If you've got questions about your specific RV, call RVFix at 844-66-RVFix. You'll get in touch with a master-level RV technician that can help walk you through any question you have so you can get back to doing what you love most.